Alrighty, sorry about that, yo. I was just fixing my screen sharing here, and welcome to this week's Tutorial Tuesday, where we will be discussing specifically this left side of the studio, mostly just figuring out what exactly are the things that you can do in the comment section here, what you can do in this notifiers bar, what you can do in this takeovers bar, and then finally we'll be going over the settings, which has a lot of buttons that can help you all as creators to figure out what to do with them and also how they can help you during your broadcast. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. I see that we already have Sam here in the comments section. Hi, Sam. How's it going? CS Murphy also leaving a funny joke there prior to the start of the broadcast. Hey, Doe, good seeing you from Lincoln. So now that we're in this comment section, I'd like to start off by explaining what exactly it is that you can do here. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off screen. Hey, Louise, how's it going? Those desserts that you were broadcasting just earlier looked amazing and delicious. Alrighty, so first things first, when you're in this comment section in the studio, you can tap on comments or click on comments to react to them, reply to them, present them on screen. You can also then view their profile, invite them onto your broadcast, subscribe to them, mute them, or block them. It's important to know what all of these buttons do, so I'm going to go ahead and go over that. First off, reply, pretty self-explanatory. It'll create a comment ready to go with Doe's tag there so that you can respond to them there, and then easily submit it that way. Next thing, right? So present on screen. So if you hit present on screen, that'll take a little bit of time to load, and then you'll see that this comment is now actually appearing at the top of the program window. The next button, let's go with another one, is view profile. When I hit view profile, their preview of their profile will appear on screen here, and you can subscribe and do a couple of other things there. You may have seen a couple buttons there on my end that you won't see, and that's because I have the admin permissions along with moderation permissions on that front. All right, so next up, let's see. View profile. Okay, so I can also invite the user. I'm not going to click on that. Just to not worry, Luis, you have to join this broadcast. You can subscribe or unsubscribe. And then finally, you can mute and block. The differences between these two buttons are that if you mute the user, their comments will be hidden to your audience while they're watching you. If you block the user, that user will now no longer be able to watch your broadcast. Rev, I hope you're not inside of that rocket. All right, so that is what you can do with reacting and responding to the comment section here. The next thing that you can do is obviously write your own comments. So this is a public comment. And then the other thing that you can do is write private comments. So in this situation, it's not going to be very private because you all are watching me and what I type, but I like to take the time to explain what exactly does a private comment mean. A private comment means that anyone that is in this studio session that is a moderator of yours that you have set or is on the Happs team will be able to see that private comment. So if, for example, Peter is in the comment section and I need to tell him something, I can do so privately and say, hey, I need help with my mic. Are you free? This will let him know that as a creator, broadcaster, I need help with something on the tech side, and Peter can potentially assist with a private comment or by joining the studio session and manually assist that way. So this is also a really good way to have conversations with members in your broadcast outside of the normal conversation and what you're actually talking about during the broadcast. So something to keep in mind on that front. And that's it. That summarizes the comment section. Some of you may remember or have pointed out that you used to be able to drag and drop images here and send them. That is no longer available. So you can no longer send photos by dragging and dropping them into this comment bar. However, links now work very well, as you all can see from the very top here. Links are now clickable. So if I click on this CS Murphy link and then click on what he sent, there you go. He sent us a big reset button. Alrighty, so alrighty, so we're done with comments. Yeah, you all are reading the pink, huh? All right, so at this point, Lucia and Peter will be answering any questions that you may have, as I'm going to be going away from the comments and won't be able to see what you all are saying. Without further ado, notifiers. So a notifier is a text on screen tool that you all can use, and that'll appear up in this top left-hand corner of the program window. And your audience will be able to see that. So how does this actually work? Well, first off, I have to go ahead and create a new notifier. And then I will put in some information like Happs is very cool. And that will be the title of my notifier. And then beyond that, I will add, it has the coolest community and creators are very unique! Exclamation mark. I'll hit save on that, and then I'll add a couple more notifiers just so that you all can see the full extent of what this tool does by just typing in a bunch of gibberish here, and then hit save on that. So now that we have our notifiers set, what can I actually do here? Well, first of all, you can edit them. So if you have any spelling errors or anything like that, you can go ahead and fix that. You can also delete them if they're, for whatever reason, bothering you, or you're accidentally clicking them and you need them to go away. You can go ahead and hit that delete button. And then finally, you can also organize these so that they are in an order that makes sense for you. So if you have a lot of notifiers here, you may want to adjust the order so that they're in the order that you want them to go out. However, the order that they're set here doesn't have anything to do with the order that they will appear on screen if you want to send more than one notifier. In order for you to actually select the order, you have to first click on the notifier that you would like to go first. So if I want this notifier to go first and this notifier to go second, I can click on that first and then that second. As you can see here, if I switch these around, it doesn't change the order in which they will actually go out. You still see that number 1 and then number 2 with the corresponding notifier that I selected prior. Now that your notifiers are ready to go and you have them selected, you can go ahead and hit that push to program button, and in just a few seconds you'll see that they appear on screen. The amount of time that they appear on screen is completely based off of how many characters are in that notifier. So they're automatically set to a certain amount of time to appear on the screen. Once they've completely disappeared, you can switch them back on, or you can move on with your broadcast as needed. Next up, we have takeovers. This tool works very similarly to the notifiers. The big difference is that instead of it being an upper third text, this actually takes over the full screen, hence the name takeover. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new takeover here. And on the title, I'm going to put Marley is itchy. And in the subtitle, I'm going to put scratch, scratch, scratch. And then in this takeover, I'm going to put Marley is itchy because it is allergy season and she is like her dad and gets lots of allergies. LOL. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. And now again, everything here works exactly the same as notifiers. You can add more, you can move the directions, and then you can select them in the order that you want them to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and push this to program so that you all can see what that looks like once it goes on screen. That is written like a 2-year-old reading book. Yay me. Well done on that takeover. Can't see your comments, so if you all are making fun of me, ouch. If you're applauding me for that, thank you. All right, so now to the meat and potatoes of what is these settings. I'm by the way, the reason why I say Marley's itchy is because I'm sure you all can hear her scratching in the background. All right, so broadcast title and hashtags. These are two things that you can edit. Well, actually, broadcast title, hashtags, and the social multicasting are settings that you can actually edit once you're already live. However, it's important to note that your title and hashtags on external platforms are already set after you hit that go live button. So even if you edit these, they will only edit on the Happs website, not on Facebook or Twitter, for example. So you just hit the edit button and then you can change your title around if needed. You can edit these hashtags and add these hashtags that you need. Just make sure that after you add the hashtags that you like, you go ahead and hit save. Otherwise, they will not appear. You know that you did it right if they appear in this section here under hashtags. Alrighty, so socials and multicasting. This is another great place where you can actually edit your multicasting destinations while you are live. We've recently implemented the auto end multicasting for any guest when they leave a broadcast. So if they leave a broadcast in about 30 seconds, all of their multicast destinations will automatically end. However, if you as a guest would like to turn off your destinations or turn them off as a host, you can go ahead and go to this menu and then turn them off. As soon as I turn this off, it'll automatically end that live broadcast. The next setting that you see here is the audience program orientation. And this is important because this is something that you set prior to going live. If you try to edit this once you're live, you can see here that nothing happens. That button is now unclickable. So just be aware and make sure that you have it in the right orientation before you actually hit the go live button. All right, so the next bit is the graphics. If you edit your graphics in the studio session, this does not save these settings for your next broadcast. If you want to edit these settings for all of your broadcasts so that it's always the same, make sure that you go to your profile settings and then go under broadcasting, as we described a couple weeks ago. And that is where you would want to set your settings so that you have them set for every single broadcast. Now, without further ado, let's go over what these do again. First off, if I turn on the awards banner at the top of the program, you're going to see all of the awards that have been given to this account. If I turn on the dollar goal, you will see how much has been given of the automatically set monthly goals. It's important to remember that these goals get reset at the top of every month. So at the first of the month, it'll get reset back to that $10 goal. It does not mean that you have lost all of your money. It just means that the goal has reset for the month. If I turn on this broadcast title at the top of the program, you'll see that this graphic at the top of the screen now alternates from follow at happs.tv/@happs to Happs Tutorial Tuesday. What does this button do? And lastly, if I turn on the show usernames and professions, it is now going to cycle between those three things. Subscribe to Happs for more, the broadcast title, and this card here that shows you that you have a username and a title. Alrighty, so and then lastly, there's this animate layout transitions, which just signifies the ability to animate when you add something on screen. So if I have that on, if I add myself on screen, you can see here that I'm added very quickly and smoothly. If I turn that off, the smoothness goes away and it's just like a very quick jump cut. So you can see that it's very rough. So I like to leave that on. Comment moderation can also be edited in the studio session, but again, this is one of those settings that you want to set ahead of time in your own profile settings. And as you remember, this just signifies how strict or not strict you want your auto moderation to be. Next up, we have reset program layout. So these two buttons that you see here are for use in cases of emergency. At the top, you have reset program layout, and that will be used in situations where I, for example, uploaded an image, selected it to be in the program screen. I went to, you can no longer delete them when it's in program. Great, so the reset program layout button isn't necessarily needed as much anymore. And the only reason you would want to use that in the future is to take everything off the screen and start fresh. So when you hit that button, you'll see that everything gets off the screen and you can start setting it all up again from the beginning. I love discovering new features while I'm doing these tutorials that I missed. Last but not least is the Restart Graphics Server button. When you hit this button, you will completely restart your broadcast, but to your audience, they won't know that. So it's important to let them know so that they can hit refresh or leave and rejoin as quickly as possible when you hit that button. The reasons that you might want to hit this is if for whatever reason your program window is glitchy or blurry or dropping frames, if your audio isn't working but you're seeing that levels are going through, those are the reasons why you might want to hit that Restart Graphics Server button. But otherwise, you should be good to go. Alrighty. And with that, that concludes our Tutorial Tuesday. We do have one question. Okay, so I'll answer this question really quickly. Yes, you can upload notifiers and takeovers to the studio ahead of time. But if you go live from mobile, there are no buttons in order to activate them. So you would have to have someone be a director for you. Cool. Alrighty. So that is the conclusion of our Tutorial Tuesday. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us with contact@happs.tv. We're happy to get back to you there. And we will see you tomorrow for a special edition of the Happs Takeover Wednesdays. This week, it's going to be a round of 2 broadcasts, one at 9 a.m. and one at 2 p.m., I believe, Pacific time. And what's going to be happening is that Peter and I will be hosting those 2-hour blocks, and we will be getting postcards from around the world, meaning that we will have travel broadcasters going live and joining us from all different parts of the world and sharing with us what they are seeing. So it's going to be a really great way to travel around the globe here on Happs without having to leave your couch. We'll see you then, and enjoy the rest of your weeks.